Spread the news. Foley's debut album, Crowd Pleaser, has just been released. And here is Foley's Gabe Everett to tell us how the Kiwi electro-pop duo spent release day.
We wanted to do a little special album release celebration and play one of those sort of old school record store in-stores, you know?
Yep.
So it's really nice to do a bunch of tracks and talk about the meanings behind all of them and have our fans and friends and family there. So yeah, it was really special.
Oh, good, excellent. And so really the biggest news is the leadoff track, What Got Into You. So that's the one that folks would be least familiar with at this point. So what can you tell us about it? What kind of insights have you on the track?
Yeah, well, that track was actually the earliest song that we wrote for the album. You know, it was in one of the first sessions where we didn't even know if we were writing an album or, you know, what the album would be, what the themes would be, any of that. But the session itself was a lot of fun because we were creatively very sort of experimental and just being a bit weird and trying things that we hadn't done before, and it became this track that became quite interesting and ended up reflecting a lot of what the album means. So the track itself is about you know, a rumor spreading and becoming larger than life, and you know, something small can end up really massive and getting out of hand. So I think we wanted to match a lot of the production with that as well. So yeah, it's a chaotic song.
You had was it Josh Edmonds producing that?
Yeah, Josh Edmonds.
Tell me about him and how does he produce when he works for you?
Yeah, we've been working with him a while. He's written a bunch of songs with us, including like So Personal, and then some stuff on our very first EP. And he is very forgiving and very easy to experiment with. You know, like he's open to anything, and I think he's got a really natural ear for melody as well. So he's great to songwrite with and bounce stuff off when I get stuck. But he's also vocally produced the entire album as well. So we recorded all the vocals for the album with Josh Edmonds, and he's really special in that regard as well.
So what does he do that's special with the vocal bit?
There's something when you do vocals about you know, with varying people that is a little intangible, and I know that's not the best answer, but to give like a good performance, like and to really be like vulnerable and emotional when you're singing, I think you have to be really comfortable in the room. And Josh is really welcoming and warm and supportive of that. So I think he's got all that down, but at the same time, you know, he's got a very nice microphone.
Right.
Very nice.
A good microphone. That's always a plus.
And yeah, he's just got the ear for it. I can't really say anything more other than that. He's really good.
All right. Very good. And what about the video? There's a new video that went along with it. Where was that shot? How did that come together?
Yeah, that was with Tom Grew, the director, and that was at his family house out in West Auckland, and we wanted somewhere where we could cause a lot of chaos. You know, we set a lot of things on fire, we broke a lot of things. We really wanted to just reflect what the song was about. You know, like have something that started off really small and then get completely out of control. So we ended up casting a bunch of extras and, you know, friends of ours out there, none of whom had met anyone else before. And within the first 10 minutes, they were all, you know, causing mischief and like, you know, having fun together. It was really, really fun.
Yeah, good. So now that the record's out, you've done your album day live thing. What's in the near future? Do you have gigs coming up? Yeah, I think you're doing. Yeah, you tell me.
Yeah, well, we're off to Australia soon. So we're going to be Big Sound next week.
Yep.
And then we're staying there for a bit to do some writing, and then we're going back for South by Sydney.
Right.
And then yeah, just after that, we've got maybe some more New Zealand dates in the works.
Okay. All
We're
right.
playing festivals at the end of the year.
And speaking of South by Sydney, last time I talked to you, you were about to head off to South by Southwest in Austin. So what
Yeah,
was that like? How did that go?
that was awesome. Yeah, it was a really nice I don't know, it's nice to get across there and show people what the project actually is in a live setting. I
Yep.
think performance is a big part of Foley and who we are. So to get people that had heard of us and heard the music but hadn't quite like gotten it yet, to get people in a room and perform for them was really special. And I really fell in love with Austin. The food there was amazing.
Oh, yeah, that's
It's
for
very
sure.
American. Yeah, it was so good.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, very good. So this is interesting because you released kind of the first, there was a part one version of the album that came out several months ago, and then a few more singles released in the interim, and then now the full album is out. I don't know if did you see Graham Reed's commentary about how you released it
No, I
on
didn't.
his
No,
elsewhere? He kind of he didn't talk about the music at all. He was just talking about how interesting it is, how albums are being released in this way, and he kind of called it a compilation with a couple of new tracks added because it's basically. So I was wondering what your reaction was to when you hear something like that doesn't make any difference.
not really. I think the album stands for itself, like as a bigger body of work. I think the reason we did the earlier release and the release now, I think, was to just give each of the songs enough time to breathe and you know be contextualized in different ways. We released part one coming out of summer, and now
Yep.
we're sort of coming into spring. I think there's different seasonal aspects of music in a whimsical way.
Yep.
But yeah, I think the beauty of doing an album is that you can really stay true to like an emotional theme throughout the track listing.
Right.
So the song selection and the song order is really important for like carrying that message across. And I think anyone's going to be able to find that throughout Crowd Pleaser.
Okay. So with that in mind, why is "On the Rocks" the final song on the album?
Finally distracted, blissfully inactive, caught in my mind, bitten by the great white. See me in the yellow, say I'm fine wherever I go. It's all a big lie. I'm clinging to the grapevine.
Yeah. We wanted to leave the album on a bit of a question, and leave it quite vulnerable. We didn't want to solve any problems with the record. We didn't want to act like we had the answers to any questions that we were putting forward.
Okay.
And I think "On the Rocks" is a really beautiful, really weird song, and the very final moments of that track is a guitar solo that I did, which is heavily auto-tuned, and then
Uh-huh.
Ash comes in with a really vulnerable vocal take that's also heavily auto-tuned. And I think the hidden, us hiding behind our sort of imperfections and polishing over things was quite a really touching way to end the record. Yeah, just to wrap all that up, saying, we're not perfect, we don't have every answer.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And so over the course of the time that you and Ash have been working together, has that working dynamic changed at all? Do you have the same kind of way that you make music when you first
Yeah,
started as to where you do now?
it's in some ways it's the same. Like, because we've got such a such a penchant for collaboration. Like, we both value each other's ideas equally. Um, but I think we've settled into more of a groove now where, we do have individual strengths and weaknesses, and we know how each other works in terms of, top lining or lyric writing or anything like that.
Uh-huh.
And I think yeah, it's definitely changed, but it's changed for the better. And honestly, every songwriting session is completely different because
Mhm.
you're always working with a different writer or a different producer or whatever. So
Right.
yeah, just is what it is.
So when you're looking for a different writer to add on or a producer, what do you look for in that person?
Yeah, I think we look for someone that first and foremost is like as open as us and
Right.
collaboration and experimentation. But I think it's actually really hard to look for a producer. I think you just have to work with as many people as you can and slowly figure out who you like and who you don't and why you like them. I mean, one example is like, we've done a few things with Harry Charles, who'd produced a couple songs on the record.
Yep.
And he's an amazing producer by himself, but he also does a really good job of sort of like co-production.
Mm-hmm.
And so there was a few tracks, Killing Me Babe and Smooth It Over, where we needed a bit of extra spice. And we knew that Harry could provide that, so we got him involved, and so on like a track by track basis, we learned like what his strengths were and like how he could help us finish the songs.
Right.
So I think that's really beautiful, but you just have to keep trying.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned when you go over to Australia, you might be starting to write. So you're obviously thinking about making new music, even though the thing just came out. So with having this record out and the way it was released, how are you looking at doing the next one?
Oh wow. Yeah, the next record. Um, I don't know at this point. I mean,
Right.
yeah, I think the whole process of doing this album was a real labor of love and intensity and passion. So I think it's going to take some time to figure out what the next thing is going to be. But at the moment, I'm really keen to just write super naturally and freely and see what happens. I don't think we're prescribing anything at this point.
I'm guessing there'll be a new single out sometime soon.
Yeah, but in the meantime, there's a whole album.
There you go. All righty, very good. All right, well, we'll look for some dates here in New Zealand at some point when you get around to it. In the meantime, have a good time. Hope it all goes well, and thank you for spending time with me.
Legend. Thanks, Marty. Appreciate it.
Yeah, bye-bye.